Welcome, everybody. We here today with a very, very important gentleman that I could not meet at the AEF, but I promised to his team that I needed to talk to him, and we arranged it for today. So I'm here today with John Lewis, Managing Director of Aggreko Africa. So John, it's a pleasure to have you today. So how are you, sir?
It's great to be here, Tony. Thank you very much for having me.
Excellent, excellent. Well, listen, John, as I usually do with everybody, so I know about you, but not everybody know about who you are and what is your career. Would you mind giving us a bit of an idea, so what you've been up to?
Yes, sure. So I'm, as you said in the introduction, I'm the MD of Aggreko Africa. So I'm responsible for our operations across the African continent. We're in about 30 countries. We operate a range of power solutions. Traditionally diesel, moving into gas, and then increasingly into the renewable and storage space. So that's the current role. Been doing that for about 4 years, just shy of 4 years, and obviously been through quite a challenging couple of years in the last 2 years. But yeah, so prior to that, I actually was in the telecoms industry. So spent time at MTN in South Africa, the Pan-African Mobile Network Group, and prior to that I was operating a mobile network in the UK, which was private equity owned. So yeah, but all in sort of business to business and business to government infrastructure. So some consistency through that, just different products.
That's very excellent. That's impressive. So as I mentioned, we met at AEF and I heard you speaking, and from what I gather, so Aggreko headquarters is actually in Glasgow. And then,
that's right, yeah.
We had the Cop27 in Glasgow.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to know, so how did it feel actually inside the company, just having the whole world coming home?
Well, look, it was amazing to be the center of the world for a couple of weeks. So yeah, we're a Glasgow-based company. We're quite an old company. We've been around for decades, through power evolution. So, you know, we're quite used to the evolving technologies of power generation. We have a pretty large factory just outside of Glasgow, and I was privileged to host some of our clients during COP26 and talk to them about, you know, some of the really interesting projects that across Africa that are being looked into around, you know, renewable energy and clean energy and the energy transition.
Excellent. And then I was listening to you, and you joined Aggreko in 2018.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
And you have a very, very accomplished career up until now, right? So being involved into
it's very kind of you.
Moving from telecom into power. And it looks like you are the soldier that we're sending, right, to make sure that we can get a victory at the end of the day, right? So I just wanted to know, so joining Aggreko, which is obviously a remarkable company by all standards. So, and you obviously driving the Africa business. So what is your vision for Aggreko Africa? Where are you leading the company to?
Yeah, sure. Look, in order to answer that, obviously, you know, we're very well known and for our sort of heritage of emergency and temporary power, often based on diesel fuels, and we've evolved that side of the business, you know, over the last 20-30 years, really, you know, across the globe. So we operate in 150 countries globally. We support major sporting events. We've just done the Olympics this year, so providing, you know, power to the Tokyo Olympics. We're about to do the Winter Olympics. So you know, that's our heritage, and that's really the base of what we've had in Africa. So we've been doing, you know, historically a lot of, you know, supporting, whether it's utilities with temporary solutions while they establish permanent long-term solutions, or the same with industrial users, be it mines or oil and gas or manufacturing, where they need, you know, either a backup or a temporary or that type of solution. So that heritage has enabled us to move, the past few years into newer technologies. So coming to my vision, it's really to, take our existing footprint, capability, and our trusted brand, and use our expertise to help our customers on their journey to cleaner fuel. Now, we'll all know that depending on where you are in Africa, the solutions available are very different. So what we are focusing on is getting the right solutions in the right place for the clients that need them, and that does vary depending on the geography we're in, the fuel availability, the solar penetration, all those factors. So very much trying to tailor solutions to those specific sectors and applications that are required.
Excellent. And hopefully you'll be able to take it to fruition.
Yeah, certainly hope so.
So COP26, one of the big message, and that has been drumming up for a few years now, is to encourage government, but also businesses to move towards the net zero emission target, right? So carbon neutral.
Yeah.
And then and talking about that, it means that we need to be managing or engaging the energy transitions. And I wanted to know, so as the leader in your sector that you are, Aggreko, I wanted to know, how does it translate in Aggreko, this target? So how does it materialize?
Yeah, sure. So we like most organizations take this subject very seriously, and we're obviously in the thick of it in terms of we generate power, so it is our business, and we've traditionally, as I said, generated a lot of power from diesel fuel or fossil fuels. So we've made commitments to the market. In fact, a year or so ago, we publicly stated we would halve our reliance on diesel power and the emissions from it across our entire business. So what we generate for customers, we'll halve those by 2030. So 9 years to go. And that we would be carbon neutral by 2050 across the entire business. So, it's pretty obvious to see that's quite a big transformation for what we provide into the market. And what's behind that is our commitment to investing in, alternative fuels or cleaner fuels, and we're investing heavily in gas, which is obviously still thermal, but it's a lot cleaner than other options, and that we see evolving into other cleaner fuels in the future. So we're looking at hydrogen, and other options. And then at the same time, we're investing heavily in storage solutions and increasingly bringing to bear renewables into the solutions we bring, which, as you'll know, is it varies depending on where you are in terms of how you achieve that. So very much being part of that solution, whether it's bringing renewables as part of our solution or indeed enabling renewables to operate as a separate project. So that's our commitment, and we've publicly stated that and are investing heavily into that journey.
Excellent. So I'm looking forward to see the detail of that. And then let me ask a question, because I'm an engineer, so I understand what operation means, right? And I'm also a strong renewable energy advocate, right? Otherwise, we will not be called renewables in Africa, isn't it? But the tough question that we have to deal with, right? So what happened with stranded assets? And I imagine company that you saw providing temporary solutions to businesses, large businesses, some of them are mines. So how do you deal with that? And the reason I'm asking this question is because some companies that are facing the same problem can take example of what you are doing. So I'm curious just to find out, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, so a lot of our solutions are they're deployable and redeployable. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So that's a key strand of of what we help avoid, we actually help avoid stranded assets. So, there's a recognition in a number of geographies that, that they're waiting for an evolution of whether it's availability of gas or, commercial availability of hydrogen. People are sort of worried about committing to big long-term power plants. And obviously what we can do is be much more flexible and deploy, I wouldn't say short-term, but medium-term solutions that are more flexible, that enable bridging, if necessary, waiting until that newer technology is available, or fuel supply or whatever. So we're a key enabler of avoiding stranded assets, actually. We do longer term solutions, so we have a number of cases where we're putting in longer term technology, so we have the risk of stranded assets, but generally we take that risk for the client. We take that on our balance sheet. Our model is we build and operate the plant for you. We can transfer assets, but if a stranded assets are concerned, then we can take that risk as well. So and we have a few examples of those where we're taking a view that actually we can, because we're a global player, stranded for us is less of a risk than certain of our clients, because we can often deploy into other countries or other sectors.
And that's great. I'm sure many business listening are actually sort of smiling, because you're kind of the people who can take away the worries.
Yeah. Well, certainly some of them. And look, I think increasingly, we focus heavily on industrial sectors as well as utilities. In the industrial sectors like mining and oil and gas and manufacturing, then they're not power specialists usually. So we position ourselves as, look, we're the power specialists. We can deal with these complex problems for you, which are going to get more complex as technology evolves. And really, you're better off building in flexibility into your solution to make sure you can capture those savings into the future.
Okay, you pride yourself, no, you personally, I'm talking about the company here. You pride yourself developing African talent. That's what you say. So I was actually wondering, so how well is it reflected in your management of the Africa business? And does it mean that in a few years' time, I could be expecting, once John is tired and move on to the next adventure, to have an African sitting on your chair?
Yeah, for sure. So I love that question because it's very close to my heart. So, I've run global businesses for many years, operating in different geographies, and I'm a firm believer that you get the best results if you're deploying local talent into the market you're operating in, because they know the customers, they understand the environment a lot better than I can from London. So I set out, when I joined Aggreko 4 years ago, I made that a very clear objective that I'll be investing in African talent, local talent. We have the benefit of operating across, as I said, most of Africa, so quite a big pool to choose from. And we've been on the journey, really. So Aggreko does have a model of using expat capabilities. That's how we've evolved to where we are. But over the last couple of years, we've increased our percentage of locals to more than 90% of our entire population. My leadership team is now more than half of my senior leadership team are Africans. So I have Senegalese, Cameroonian, South African, and we keep on that journey to make sure we recruit, and a Ghanaian as well, by the way. So my latest recruit was a Ghanaian. But we've got to balance that with, clearly it's a complicated market, so we need the right skills as well as the right sort of outlook. So we're also investing in more junior levels of talent, so that we can build that leadership pipeline over time. and we're continuing to recruit graduate trainees and apprentices, and we pride ourselves on employing, where we operate, we aim to employ local people in those countries, and bring in the knowledge and capability, so so that they can add their bit to their country's future.
And if you don't mind me asking, because it wasn't, I just, because I love your answer, by the way, but I just wanted to know, so from those leaders, so what is roughly the percentage that would be female leaders, or just rough idea?
Yeah, that's another great question. And look, it's far too low. So I have 10% currently, just over 10%. There's more at the next level down. So we've we've made progress in that space, but we're also passionate about developing a broader diversity, if you like. And in fact, we've launched this year a special network for our female colleagues to give them the support and opportunity to to develop in the business as well. So yeah, more work to do on that, but it's certainly more than when I joined.
Definitely, and it's part of your vision.
Yeah, indeed.
So last questions for me. So I just wanted to say, Cop27 is going to be in Egypt, which is in Africa.
Yeah.
And then I just want to know, are you going to be traveling? It's not going to be home anymore. You can't always be home. But are you going to be traveling to Cop27? And if yes, what is the message that you're going to take there?
Yes, so definitely we will. Egypt is a big market for us. We're actually investing quite heavily in Egypt at the moment, and that is a great example where we've had business focused on diesel for a while. We're evolving it into actually capturing waste gas, what we call flare gas, and turning that into power. So we're working on that basis. So it's very, very topical that actually Egypt is actually practically, as I said in my opening speech at AEF, I think there's a lot of cases where Africa are actually leading the way. So we think that's a great, Egypt's a great place to hold the next COP, and we'll hopefully showcase some of what we've been doing around that event next year.
Excellent. So, wow, John, that was a very insightful interviews, and thank you for your frank and honest answers. And then I know you are a very, very busy man, but as I promised your team, I wanted to make sure that I talked to you because your opening speech was just remarkable. So
Great.
Thank you very much for your time, and it was a pleasure to have you on our platform, Renewables in Africa.
Pleasure to meet you, Tony. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.